All right, good morning, guys and gals. This is our triangle theories review. It's what we learned today in class. I'm going to go over it in case you have any questions and want to work on it tonight. And now we learned three triangle theories. The first one is interior of a triangle, and our proof name is just tri. And what we found out with all triangles is that they're going to have a total of 180 degrees inside. There'll be three angles in a triangle, obviously, and those three will total 180 degrees. So if you look at this first triangle here, it has angles of 110 and 50, but it doesn't have the last one. I called it M because it really doesn't matter what the variable is. And what we're going to do is say that M plus 110 plus 50 equals 180. And it looks remarkably like the algebra stuff that we just finished doing. So this is a full proof. This is how you show your work. Of course, you can get the answer right away. Some of you can do it in your heads, but we're going to show the work. And now we have M plus 110 and 50. We're going to group those two together. We might as well add them. It says add, so we're going to add 110 and 110 and 50 is 160, and that equals to 180 degrees. Now I want to know what just M is, so we'll isolate for it by getting rid of it. Get rid of it on both sides. Equals 180 minus 160. So angle M is equal to 20 degrees, and the proof we're going to use this for this one is tri. Interior of a triangle theory. And this is what your full answer should look like when you're done. The second one we looked at today is an equilateral triangle. And we talked about an equilateral triangle. The proof name is equa, or however you pronounce that. And you recognize an equilateral triangle by these ticks. Those ticks tells me that all three sides are the same, but the part you didn't really know before is all of the angles are the same. That's what these dots are signifying. The dots are signifying that all of the angles in there are identical to each other. Now, if I was to put a variable like x in there, here's how you would solve and show the math behind your work. Now remember, all of this geometry you're doing has a large base in algebra, so I want you to continue with the algebra work that we're doing. You see one x right here, but you also know that these two other angles are the same. So basically, you have an x, and that's representing a value that you don't know. That's what a variable does. But we also have two more x's. They're not written down, but we know all three of those angles are the same. So really what you have is x plus x plus x equals 180 degrees. And we collect our terms. That gives us 3x equals 180. And we know to solve that, we're simply going to divide both sides by 3 because we did enough of that before. And x equals 60 degrees, I should say angle x equals 60 degrees because of equilateral triangle theory, or equa. Our last one and final one is iso. Iso, should have made that a little bit bigger than you can see it, but there's the proof name for it, and it says similar to equilateral, but in an isosceles only two sides are the same. And those two sides show us that the two bottom angles will be equal to each other. So they have two sides the same and two angles are the same. As long as you know which one's which bottom two angles, and you can see them. You can easily see which two are identical to each other, then you're able to do this one. Grade 7s have a much easier proof than the grade 8s, but that's okay. They will get the harder proof next year. Grade 7s simply have to say that they know that this is an equilateral triangle because of those, and they know that those two angles are the same. So they will be given a question like this, and they will simply have to say angle M is equal to 48 degrees because of iso. Iso tells them that the bottom two angles will be the same. So if this one here is 48, that one there is going to be 48. Grade 8, however, your question is going to be more complex. And as it should, we've been doing more complex proofs for the last 3 weeks. So in this case, we know that this angle plus this angle plus this angle is going to equal 180 degrees. We also know, because this is isosceles, that this one and this one are the same. So similar to an equilateral, even though they don't ask us to do it, we're going to say that angle S plus the other angle S on the other side plus 30 is equal to 180 degrees. Now when I have two s's like that, I'm just going to collect them. I get 2s plus 30 equals 180. And now it's just simply a two-step algebra problem that we're going to use the balance method to solve. We're going to subtract 30 from both sides. 30 minus 30 is basically 0. Not basically 0, it is 0. Now I got 2s equals 150. The only way to get rid of the 2, because I'm only interested in the s, is to divide both sides by 2. And s is equal to 75 degrees. I should say angle s, and that's because of iso. And those are the three proofs that we did today. What else could I do? Let's do a real quick few examples, and then you can get started on your work today. So there's our triangle for our first example. We go through our sheet. Is it an equilateral? And you're like, no, I don't see any ticks, and they don't all look the same size. You can say, okay, are two sides the same? And you'll say, no, I don't see, it's not an isosceles, because there's no two ticks on it. So it has to be the interior triangle formula, or proof. And remember, in that, all three things inside of a triangle, all three angles, total 180 degrees. So I'm simply going to add c plus 34 plus 113, then total it to 180. Do some mental math in my head. I got 113, 140, 147. So c plus 147 equals 180. I just want to know c, so I'm going to have to use the balance method to get rid of it. For people that are getting sick and tired of the balance method, grade 8s, you'll be happy to know that next year you can just do some of this in your head. But the rest of you, it's nice to know that where it came from. And the answer here will be 33 degrees. And this is try as your proof. Remember, you get 1 mark for this and 1 mark for all your math. The proof that you're using is just as important as the math that you're doing. All right. This one, you're like, wow, there's an equilateral triangle. I know it's an equilateral triangle because of the three similar sides. And not similar, the same sides. You should also know after today that that means that these three angles are going to be the same. So it only asks for D, but basically you have three angles that are the exact same size as D, and you can write it just like that, and you know the interior of a triangle is 180 degrees. Group your terms, D plus D plus D equals 3D, and it still equals 180 degrees. The only way to get rid of D, or get rid of the 3, is to divide both sides. Angle D is equal to 60 degrees, equilateral. Last one before I let you get started on your own. You can see there's a grade 7 proof and a grade 8 proof. The grade 8 proof is harder because they have done 2-step equations, and the grade 7s have only done 1-step equations. So grade 7 should be happy in the fact that they know this is an isosceles proof. They know for an isosceles that those two angles should be the same or will be the same. So all they have to put, maybe I should put a letter here like B. So all they have to put is angle B is equal to 70 degrees because of iso. Real neat and easy. It's almost like the opposite angle theory. Pretty darn quick. Grade 8s, you have a little more work to do, but it doesn't scare us, and I give you lots of class time. So you know that everything in here will equal 180, and you know that this dot that I just put means that this angle and this angle are the same, because it's an isosceles triangle. So really it's B plus 40 equals 180. All of our triangles equal 180 degrees. I'm going to collect that B and that B. That gives me 2B plus 40 equals 180. I want to get rid of the 40 first. I want to isolate for B, so I have to subtract 40 from both sides. 2B is equal to 140. To just solve for B, I have to divide out 2. B is equal to 70 degrees. Angle B is equal to 70 degrees iso. And that's your grade 8 proof. That is our work. We are going to go just a little bit further tomorrow, just by extending these lines. Then I'll ask you to figure out that one, and then I'll ask you to figure out this one. but don't worry, it's all the same concepts. They're just starting to get combined. Good luck. Try them out. And if you have any questions, come see me in the morning.